This is the case of isolated Gerbode defect. Normally you will miss this defect for perimembranous BSD. In this case you can see the flow is coming from left ventricle. So from left ventricle into right atrium directly without going into right ventricle. So this is direct Gerbode defect or Gerbode defect, isolated Gerbode defect, because there is no associated BSD. In this view you can see the flow is coming out of left ventricle, though part of left ventricle is very close to aorta or aortic valve, so you can see the aortic valve also in this image, but it is from left ventricle. Whenever flow is from aorta to right atrium, suppose just imagine if it is flow from aorta to right atrium, then flow must be continuous one, but the flow is not continuous. Flow is only during systole, not during the diastole. You can see flow, no flow, flow, no flow, flow, no flow. It means flow is only during systole, not during diastole. But if it is from aorta to right atrium, in that case flow will be continuous one, both through systole and diastole. That means throughout the cardiac cycle, that means continuous flow. So only thing, whenever you have confusion with if it is from aorta to right atrium, in that case flow will be continuous. If it is from left ventricle to right atrium, flow is only during systole, mainly during systole. That is the difference you can make easily. Next image, same thing, same image again, same image again. In this case the patient is 10 years old child, so maybe child could have BSD with Gerbode defect. BSD would have closed, and now the Gerbode has remained as such. This is 4 chamber to 5 chamber view. View is both 4 and 5 chamber coming intermittently in this image. You cannot easily find out Gerbode defect in this view, because apex is having more distance from the pathology compared to this parasternal short axis view. In parasternal short axis view you come very close to the pathological lesion, pathological point, that is Gerbode defect or VSD, whatever you say. I mean, in other case you can have VSD also, but in this case only Gerbode defect, isolated Gerbode defect. So isolated Gerbode defect comes close to parasternal region compared to apical region. So image wise you will get better image in parasternal short axis or long axis view compared to apical 5 chamber view, because some of my audience has requested this Gerbode defect can be easily seen, better seen in apical 5 chamber view. Theoretically that is the correct point, but as the image becomes more distance from the probe, so image does not come as is expected from its anatomical point of understanding. So ultimately isolated Gerbode defect comes better in this view, that is parasternal short axis view. It is not from aorta to right atrium, because in case of aorta to right atrium flow will be continuous one throughout all parts of cardiac cycle, but here only through the systole. So it is Gerbode defect, isolated Gerbode defect. Defect is very close to tricuspid valve, but is not going into right ventricle. Flow is simply coming directly from left ventricle into right atrium. So direct Gerbode defect. If it is going right ventricle then comes into right atrium, then that is called indirect Gerbode defect. but this is direct Gerbode defect because that is flow from left ventricle coming directly into right atrium without going into right ventricle. So that is direct Gerbode defect. Isolated Gerbode defect, direct Gerbode defect, only surgery is option because the extra portion of tricuspid valve is not likely to close this in this case. Baby has already attained 10 years of age, so surgery is only option, or device closure. Mainly surgery is better option because so many valves are very close to this defect. Thank you.